How's it going, y'all? We're back with another one. This time we're more so just going over like a little study, but also finding ways to essentially make new OCs. So let's get right into it. I said it a while ago, but when it comes to like my story and the story I'm telling, when it comes to these OCs and how I'm like doing my own version of like the Greek gods, not just their pantheon, but like the Egyptians, Yoruba, Voodoo, and right now, as you can see, Hindu. Right here we have Aditi, one of like Hinduism's creation goddesses, and two of our sons, Indra and Varuna. When I was starting my story, or the comic at least, I started with like the Greek gods, mostly because everybody knows them, or at least they're more mainstream than anything nowadays. I figured if I can tell my story through them, it's sort of like just to get an audience here, and more so to have that like something looking for. So like a gateway into the other lesser known or more less represented mythologies, pantheons. And I figured why not do it? Started with the Greeks, but it's more expansive than that. Like you see with the current arc of my story, they're dealing with like the Egyptian gods and goddesses with Hathor, Sekhmet, Bast, like the eyes of Ra and all that. But eventually I think once this little arc of the story is done, whenever that may be, I move on to the Hindu gods and goddesses and see what I can do with them. And eventually, I knew I do have planned for like Celeste and Helios to meet up again after it's been so long. Excuse me. And then they'll come in contact with the Japanese gods, goddess like Amaterasu, Susanoo, and gods like that, Izanagi, in my interpretation of them, and see how I essentially do things and how I represent them. It's more so about finding these stories and seeing how I can incorporate them within my story, with also trying to, I guess, remain original as can be. Like a good chunk that goes into my designs and illustrations is basically research into who these people are, these gods are, their myths, their stories, what they represent, and how I can essentially have them make sense in the story I'm telling, while also remaining somewhat true to the overall concept or idea of them. Basically, when I was doing this one, like when I seen the image you see in the reference, I knew I had to do something of it. I just didn't know whether it would be characters I already had. Cause I do have a set of twins, that being Apollo and Artemis. Like, did I want them to be represented here, or did I want to do something different and start some new characters, eventually get the juices flowing with something I haven't particularly done yet? So baby Apollo and Artemis, nah. But Indra and Varuna, yeah. It's a lot of conflicting like reports of stories of like who Aditi is the mother of. No, she has like 12 children. They're called the Aditiyas, and with that, I figured I'd stay true to that. Originally, it was gonna be like, what's his name, Ashra, I think, or no, it's Agni. I was probably gonna have him be the brother Indra, but he has like another parent, and I could use him later if I do use him. So I figured I'd change it up a little bit. Like even the little baby on the right? The one that's holding his brother. Like in the render, I just end up changing the color. Like this part I changed off screen, but from yellow to goldish to more blue. I think the fun part was because a lot of Hindu gods and goddesses, they all have like 4 arms or even more. So I figured I'd give her an extra arm right there and probably one hidden behind her. Because when I was looking up like how she was represented, it's like red rose and a little bit of jewelry here and there. She always in clouds or represented with wealth, jewelry, or in the lotus. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what the flower is called. But so see, that's what I seen when I was looking for like references on how I will represent Aditi. This could all change a year or so from now when I do move on from this current arc I am in the comic and finally start exploring these characters, because this is just like a scene I have playing out in my head, but in my mind they're like the babies in this picture, they'll eventually come out fully grown and be able to interact with Celeste in a more we'll see how that goes. I'm still figuring out in my head, but we're near the end of this one. This is only supposed to be like a little study, but it turned into something else, as you can see. But thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.